Well, hello everyone. Today is Thursday, almost a week after my last market. It's been rough. I've had a really bad week, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the market. And you'll be happy to know that this one was a lot more pleasant than the Caterpillar market. Just saying. We did come off with a rocky start. The 6 more inches guys were, of course, blocking my spot because they don't follow the rules. The rules say, unload your car, go park your car, come back and set up. But these guys think they're special. They start setting up their canopies, their tables, their product while their truck is still there. Luckily, the girls where you check in, they went over and told them they had to move their truck out of the way. So that was nice, you know, just a slight little delay. And then we were able to just do our thing. We unloaded. I moved to the car. Then we started to set up like you're supposed to do. Some people just are not considerate of others. And that would be the 6 more inches guys. But anyways, I mean, they were so, I'll just put it this way. The person that's supposed to be next to me couldn't set their canopy up because they were invading into their space. There was not enough room for their canopy. So she had to be moved, and she's been going to this market for a few years now, and that is always her spot, which hers is service-based. It's not... like she's not really selling a product. She puts the, I guess it's tinsel in your hair. It's called sparkle hair. So they switched her to the other side of them. And then the person that was supposed to be in that particular spot next to me, because they have a different type of setup. And so I had a poet next to me. Which he actually, you know, I don't know what he charges, but he seemed to be pretty busy the whole time. But I didn't do a good job of recording while I was there. So right now, we're going to insert the before we started making sales, the setup, and let you get a look at that. That's it, such as it is. Pretty much the same setup, you know, things might be placed on the shelves in a slightly different spot. I kind of try to do themes like, you know, like items together, but it doesn't always work out like that. And I did order some extra the coffee cup holders to hang the swings on so that I could do 2 shelves of swings and have them all out on display instead of it being so like jam-packed in one spot. So now let's take a look at the after and see if you can spot what is missing. That'll help. So, not a super big, huge difference, but there's definitely a difference. It was a decent market. It usually is here. It was kind of a lot of smalls and some of the bigger items, but I didn't have a lot of bigger, like really cool, bigger items left. I just, you know, not enough time in between markets to get it all done. But like the splooters that I made, they're gone. But yeah, so the market runs 5:30 to 9:30. We get there at the very beginning of the allowable setup time for parking purposes, so that we can, there's a building that's right behind me and there's a small little parking area there. We are allowed to park there instead of having to park way out in this giant parking lot. It just makes it easier. Then if we need to, if we want to put anything in the car early, we can. If we want to get something out of the car, we can. It's right there. But we have to get there early because 2 vendors will set up that block that little parking area. So we have to get there before them so we can park there. And they're always broke down way before us because we do what we're supposed to. And we don't start breaking down till after 9:30 when the market ends. It makes it easier for us because it's right there if we need anything. So let's get into sales. You'll never guess what sold first. Like an hour before the market even opened, one of the girls at the check-in area, because it's like right across from where my booth is, she spotted Flash. I should remember that name. I called him Sid in my other video, but Sid is someone told me is from Ice Age. I knew I got that name from somewhere. But Flash, the DMV sloth from Zootopia, was the very first item to go at 4:29. So like an hour and 1 minute before the market even opened. Then we actually made 4 sales before the market opened. At 5:03, we sold a chick in an egg. Now I will try to put pictures in. Some of you guys already know my catastrophe of the week was that my computer crashed. I didn't really want to get into it in this video, but a lot of my images are locked in this computer that I cannot access. So I'll try to have pictures. All my patterns are locked in there too. But that's another story for another day. I will try to put pictures in it if I have them available. Then at 5:19, You guys didn't get to see this item because I got a request the night before. There's a subscriber, Elaine, hi Elaine, who told a friend, and they wanted a mini snuggler, and they wanted a bunny. Well, I didn't have any bunnies, but I told her, no problem, I can make one between tonight and tomorrow morning, and I will have it there for you. So she came at 5:19, and she picked up her little mini bunny snuggler. And then at 5:24, is it Elaine or Eileen? Might be Eileen. Sorry if I got your name wrong. It's either Elaine or Eileen. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. At 5:24, we sold 2 swings. A yellow chick on a swing and a manatee on a swing. Yep, manatee. At 5:36, now the market is officially opened. The night before, I was going to try to make Perry the Platypus on swings, and because I did the bunny snuggler, I didn't get to. So Friday morning, amongst all the other things that I needed to get done to leave for the market, I started making Perry, and I didn't get finished. I got the little body done, but I didn't get him on a swing. So I took the yarn with me and was hoping to be able to work on it while I was there, and I finished it. We hung it out there, and at 5:36, it sold. So Perry on a swing. At 5:50, we sold a little mini Pokemon, or as Rebecca calls them, a Minimon. This one was Mew. Mew is the pink cat. At 5:53, we sold a chicken the egg. I put them back on the table again this time instead of in the white wire racks, and they actually started to sell again. At 6:05, I'm sitting here playing with my tags. At 6:05, we sold Pokemon, and I had it in here as one of the evolutions, but I believe this one was Pikachu. There's so many of them, I decided kind of just to lump them all together as a Pokemon because I have over 400 numbers in there. Now, all of them are not being used. Some of them are items I won't be remaking, but I haven't reused them yet. So I didn't want all those separate listings, even though for tracking purposes of knowing what I need to make, that would be the best thing to do, but I didn't do that. So I think that one was Pikachu. At 6:06, we sold the Pickle Amusable. And that was one that came with, I wanted the pistachio in the tea bag, and it just happened to come with the package. So now, every single one of the ones that were in that package, I made one of each. They're all gone. Those little amusables are so cute. At 6:10, we sold Shannon's Splooting Night Fury, which that was one of the 2 splooters that I was able to get made in between markets. At 6:24, we sold another manatee on a swing. At 6:31, we sold Kirby on a swing. And that Kirby is a free pattern off of Instagram, and then I just attach it to an All From Jade swing. At 6:33, we sold a Ninja Turtle. At 6:37, I sold my last Luma on a swing, because I had made 2, and I sold one at one market and sold this one at this market. So they're gone now. At 6:45, I sold, and I was so happy I sold, Cash the Market Cow, and I believe it was the Highland Cow version, if I remember correctly. Now, I was setting them up on the freestanding shelves, the accordion style shelves that I hang the swings off of. I gave the cows and the pig one shelf to themselves, and the chicken. And I wasn't selling anything, so I was like, let me try something different. Let me set them on the table and see what happens. So I set a couple of pigs and a couple of cows on the table, and I sold a cow. Cows, for some reason, I don't care what kind of cow it is, can be a hard sell. Maybe it's my area, because I hear all these other people saying how they sell these cows. It just could be my area. I don't know. And then at 6:47, we sold a Making Bacon pig, which was sitting on the table next to Cash the Market cow. So I was super excited that those two sold, because they hadn't been moving. I made them extra for that farm and quilt show, and I hadn't sold one. So they went to the market before the farm and quilt show, the farm and quilt show. They've been to like 6 markets, and finally, because they were on the table, I know that's what it is, and not on the shelf. Heather just sent me a message. She's finally home. Hi, Heather. So I was happy about those. Then at 6:51, we sold another Pokemon and the cheesecake amusable. So I'm 5 for 5 on those cheesecakes. Exciting. Now this Pokemon, this one says Pikachu. So that last one might have been one of the new ones. It might have been the Pikachu, the white one. At 6:53, we sold a mini bird on a keychain. At 7:01, we sold one of the bass fish from Stacy Makes on a swing. We sold a manatee on a swing and a pickle keychain. And then at 7:08, another chick in the egg. At 7:12, oh, I'm so glad that came up, because that reminds me. I mean, I have a couple of weeks, but I have a custom order on one of the little cats in a bed. So I have to do that. We sold a cat in a bed. And then at 7:15, another chick in the egg. So at 7:23, they even gave me a picture of their cat to try. It's black and white, but just the way the black falls on the white cat, to see if I can get close. And I think I can get close. So I need to work on that. I almost forgot about that. So I need to write myself a note. They want a green bed. Okay. At 7:23, we sold a pickle keychain. I think I'm out of those now. And a frog keychain. The pickle's free-handed, and the frog is a pattern off of Instagram. At 7:26, we sold Myrtle the turtle. I am down to 1. I need to make more myrtles. I usually have a lot on hand, but they had like slowed down in sales, and I went a few markets with not selling any at all, and now they're starting to sell again. So the last few markets I've sold one, but I didn't have a big choice because I haven't been making them. At 7:27, an itty bitty demi. I think it was a gray one. At 7:33, Shannon's Splooting Possum. Just made that one. So that is 2 out of 2. At 7:40, we sold another Pokemon and a chicken on a swing. And this Pokemon, I believe, was the green one that I made to look like Snorlax, Mosslax. I sold all of the new ones. Well, you know, the 2 modifications and then a couple of the new ones. At 7:52, did this person get charged twice? No, there's 2 separate sales. Oh my goodness, I thought this person got charged twice. We sold an Itty Bitty Demi and Kirby on a swing. And I just got my eyes in, so I made up some of those, and we sold one. Then at 7:54, we sold an Itty Bitty Demi. See, back-to-back demis, that's why I thought maybe it was twice. And my little white Harry Potter owl. That was really, that owl turned out really nice. I did like it. And at 8 o'clock, we sold, I think it was a bunny from the Mini Fable collection. Because I had made 1 bunny and 1 mouse. And then I tried making a bunny again, and that one was the anorexic one, but it sold at the last market, at the Caterpillar Market. At 8:21, I sold the Stitch that I just made from Fennec Toys. And at 8:32, another Pokemon. So I sold 5 Pokemon, I think. It was the green version of Snorlax, the white version of Pikachu, which is Pikachu, Mew, and the one that looks like an elephant. I'm not sure of its name, but those are the 5 that I sold. At 8:36, 2 duckies on a keychain, and both of those were the ones with the flower tops, the hibiscus and the daisy hats. At 8:46, we sold a Pammy Dolls sitting cat. At 8:48, a blueberry keychain. And at 8:51, 2 Ninja Turtles. I am left with just the purple one. So I have to make the other Ninja Turtles again. At 9 o'clock, I know it's not the right name. Katie calls it something different, but the sparkly black moon guardian. I know it's not a moon guardian, it's something like that. But this girl was so thrilled with that, with all the sparkly. She even took a picture of it and posted it on Instagram as she was walking through the market. She didn't want a bag or nothing. She really, really liked that. At 9:13, we sold a chicken on a swing, and that's just modifying one of the All From Jade birds and making it look like a white chicken with a red comb. At 9:36, the last sale of the evening was my very seedy watermelon turtle. The one with the really tons and tons and tons of seeds. Now, we don't break down right away because there's still a crowd of people. We usually give it about 15 minutes or so. And it's very unfortunate that I did this Friday night because the second to the last people in the booth was a couple. The guy is walking around. He's got something in his hand that is in aluminum foil. I go out to get my after video, and I'm like, what is this? He dripped grease all over my tables. I had to pull 2 of the mini snugglers. I don't even remember what's in the bag now, but it was like 6 or 7 different items that had grease on it. There's, on my table coverings, the tablecloths, there was grease. I was so upset. Another lady with a little boy came in, and they started to move stuff And I had to stop them. I'm like, please, not on this corner. Somebody dripped grease here. Oh, if I didn't do the after video, I probably wouldn't have spotted that. And then those greasy, drippy, greasy plushies would have ended up in with other plushies instead of a separate bag. And I would have had grease all over a lot of things. It's like, what a way to end the night. Just, oh my gosh. Other than that, it was a good night. I just wasn't good at doing updates for some reason. It's like I totally spaced it out, completely forgot about it. So, yeah, then we break down, and I'm upset because of the grease. And I'm like, all right, I had my plushies hit the dirt at the last market, and now somebody comes in and drips grease, not like just a drink, literally grease on my stuff. And we've just come to the conclusion that when people come in with food and drinks, we're just going to flat tell them, you cannot bring the food and drink near the table. I know it's going to come off kind of mean. I'm going to have to try and figure out a nice way to say it. But that's a lot of time and materials that are just wasted because people are careless. They're just careless. And it makes it not fun. It gets you very upset. And I'm not sure. I'm going to try and put some Dawn dish detergent on it and see if that will cut the grease. I don't know if I can save them. I know it was Llama Llama Red Pajama. I don't remember what the other little mini snuggler was. And then the other plushies. They're all in a bag. Just... This is not my month, you guys. It is not my month. So, yeah, that was what that was. So let me see. Let me go into reports. And that was, what was the date on that? That was April 3rd, Friday, April 3rd. Today is currently the 9th. We are almost a week late on doing this. So, we did a total of $728 in sales. It was 44 transactions with an average transaction of $16.55. So it was a lot of small things. And let's see. Of the $728, 74% of it was card at $542. 26% of it was cash at $186, and my square fees were $19.44, leaving me with $708.56. Now, it does cost me $70 to set up here. Not the best night for sales, but definitely not a bad night for sales. I am not unhappy with my sales. I am unhappy with the guy with the grease. Definitely. But I am not unhappy with my sales at all. So let's see. We show all. Oh, it comes up different on here. Let's see. Am I in the wrong section? Did they change this again? Where's my categories? Here it is. I just kind of scrolled right past it. Oh my goodness. All right, so we sold 29 plushies, 15 swings, 7 keychains, 1 lovey, 2 amusables. The pickle and the cheesecake, I think, if I remember right. Pickle and cheesecake. Okay, so why am I struggling with this tonight? Best sellers in the plushies. It would be kind of a category within the plushies, and that would be the little Minimons, the Pokemon, because we sold 5 of those. Then it would be Chicken the Egg. We sold 4. Then it would be tied between Ninja Turtle and Itty Bitty Demis for that category. In the swings, the best seller is tied between Manatee on a Swing, which I am completely sold out of now, and the Yellow Chick on a Swing, which I am completely sold out of now. So we sold each 3 of those. Coming in at second place, we sold 2 chickens, 2 Kirby's, and 3 manatees, or excuse me, 2 platypus. And I probably would have sold more than the 2 platypus if I could have made more. But once we got to a certain point, it stayed steady enough with people in the booth that I did not feel comfortable with sitting there crocheting and not paying attention to them. In the keychains, the best sellers, we have a tie between Pickles and the little rubber duckies. And then, of course, we had 1 Lovey and 2 Amusables. So that was the Pickle and the cheesecake, yes. And the Lovey was the mini bunny. So what is my total? Let me close all these back down. Keychain. Close back down. And then on the swings, it could have surprised me, and maybe it would have been Luma if I would have had more than 1. So that's 29, 39, 44, 45, 46, 47, 54 items, and mostly small. So you guys pay attention to your 20 and under. I think that is going to be the bulk of what you want. But then again, I was lacking on my bigger items because the 2 previous markets, I sold a lot of the bigger items and just did not have enough time in between them to make more. So that was my market. And I get to go back again the first Friday of next month. And I just, as I was sitting down to record this video, got the notification I am in for the next round, which is only 4 months worth of signups for this market, which I was thrilled to death to get into. Even though it's going to be the hot summer months, it is still at nighttime. We'll probably get rained out for 1 or 2. You never know. But I don't want to lose my spot at this market because it is a good market. And when and if the economy straightens itself out, it will be a great market. It's just, there's a lot of people there. And I heard a lot of just, parents telling kids. Now, you don't see a whole lot of young kids there. Teenagers, yes. Older teens, young 20s, yes. Little kids, no. But the ones that did have little kids, you heard a lot of, now remember, we're just walking through. We're not buying anything. So, well, that, and it was like Good Friday, right before Easter. So that could have been part of it too, that they were saying that is, I've already got your Easter stuff. We're not buying something else. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a mind reader, even though sometimes I think I am. But let's see. The guy with the grease was the bad thing that happened for the night. The young man that bought Mew, the Minimon Mew, which is, hopefully I put up a picture. He's like, I think this is my 3rd one I've gotten from you. So he keeps coming back each month to see if I have anything different. And I did go for a small little stretch there where I had a bunch, so I wasn't making any. Let me just sell through, you know, instead of remaking what I had already sold. Plus, I just picked up a bunch of new ones. So I still didn't make all the new ones. I made most of them. I think there were 2 that I didn't get to. One of them, I'm not sure I will because of the color changes, but the other one I wanted to, I just didn't have time. Did not have time. We all know how that goes, right? That and the custom order, I just can't really think of anything that really stands out. You know, as like was exciting or special that happened that night. There wasn't really, can't think of anything. So on that note, that will be the end of this market recap. And because somehow I got ahead on videos and things are off, I'm like not sure what day it is. So today for me it is Thursday. For you watching it, it will be Sunday. So Monday night, Heather and I will go live on my channel. And I have to like remember what day I'm on until things fall back to normal so that I can make my announcements. But right now I'm just confused. So yeah. All right. We will see you when we see you.